For some, the Supreme Court decision to overturn Roe versus Wade, taking away women's constitutional right to abortion, was devastating. And for others, much of the country's reaction to the decision was concerning. Many of us feel that America is in the midst of fracturing. For years now, many have been warning about a coming national divorce. The optimists predict a slow slide apart. Others warn darkly of civil war. And with last week's Supreme Court decision, it's hard not to imagine that that divide between states, between liberals and conservatives, will grow. Red states for open carry, blue states for abortion rights. And like the country, we as a Jewish community are diverse with multiple opinions and perspectives. It's easy for us to debate with each other around issues that don't affect each one of our own individual core values. But when we believe that an opinion or a perspective goes against our basic sense of morality, we stop listening and we put distance between ourselves and each other. The Jewish people have survived thousands of years for a few essential reasons. One is our commitment to being engaged with Torah, the ongoing wrestling with our tradition around how God wants us to live a righteous and holy life. And the second is our commitment to Am Yisrael, the unity of the Jewish people. We are committed to stay in relationship with each other even when we disagree. Regarding Torah, both the Reform and conservative understanding of relevant biblical and rabbinic sources, as well as teshuvot, which are modern rabbinic responsa, they all affirm the sanctity of life, including the potential of life during pregnancy, but does not believe that personhood and human rights begin with conception. There are differing opinions about where life begins, but none state that it begins before 40 weeks, and some state that it even begins with birth, as indicated by Exodus 21:22. Our understanding of Jewish law and tradition affirms the right of a pregnant person to choose an abortion in cases where continuation of a pregnancy might cause severe physical or psychological harm, or where the fetus is judged by competent medical opinion as severely defective. Denying individuals access to the complete spectrum of reproductive health care, including contraception, abortion-inducing devices, and abortions, among others, on religious grounds, deprives those who need medical care of their constitutional right to religious freedom. To me, it's crystal clear that our tradition prioritizes the physical and psychological health of the mother. However, what defines physical and psychological health is not always so clear. And to me, this is what makes the issue complicated. While the extremes hog the microphone, polling, especially the latest Pew report, consistently shows that most Americans fall somewhere in the middle on abortion, open to restrictions, but wanting it to remain legal in the first trimester. After congregants shared their thoughts with me last month when I first spoke about the consequences of this Supreme Court decision from a Jewish perspective, it became clear that this is not a black or white issue for many in our congregation. Many people value women's right to their own reproductive health and think we can do a better job as a country in supporting the potential of new life, believing in a community's obligation to support new and growing families. As being Am Yisrael, it's important that we take time to listen to each other's nuanced perspectives and that we take some kind of action that reflects how we want to address our core values on this issue. For some, it will be working on a national level to help the Senate pass the Women's Health Protection Act to protect the right to access abortion throughout the United States. For others, it will be supporting nonprofits like Let Them Live, an organization that gives financial assistance to women in order to avoid abortions and have more support to begin a family. And for some, it will be working on the state level to support laws that give women access to abortion, but with certain conditions and restrictions. With the abortion issue aside, it seems that for the foreseeable future, states and institutions will continue to polarize. And it will be ugly. as Americans increasingly self-segregate and burrow deeper and deeper into their echo chambers, not just online, but in real life. On the one hand, more state power can mean more opportunity to live in geographic areas that reflect political and cultural sensibilities that we're comfortable with. And on the other hand, this kind of segregation without uniform constitutional rights that reflect the country's values as a whole can drive us apart from one another. As the Jewish community at large and Temple Bethel of South Orange County specifically, my hope is that we'll remain vigilant to continue to reach out to each other on these important topics, to resist ending up in our own echo chambers. And while for some of us, the political diversity of our community can be challenging and frustrating, it can also be a source of great learning and healing if we choose to make respectful relationships our priority. Shabbat Shalom.